Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. This radio was donated to me, built in Inglewood, California from 1950s to 1970s in both tube and solid state variant. I highly suggest going back and watch other episodes regarding this restoration where we took the cabinet apart and fabricated the missing part, restore the entire cabinet, and also troubleshooting the chassis. Coming up, episode 6. In this episode, I'm going to replace the 5K trimmer that I received. I also replaced the, call it unusual, dial lamp. Also, I'm going to modify this lantern radio to desktop lamp. Then I'm going to reassemble and test the radio. Enjoy the video. I will add all the products that I'm using in the comment section of this video. Feel free to check them out. Let's get started. Enjoy the video. Select that bell so it notifies you whenever I upload new video. Put your thumb up. What this does, it notifies other people they enjoy this hobby. Alright? I appreciate you. I did tons of tests. Anything you imagine that you saw the last video. Let me tell you what I found out. What the issue was. When I was cleaning this, since this radio was in his woodwork shop, it was a lot of dust here. The wood dust everywhere. So when I was cleaning this trimmer right here, somehow it fall apart. Due to the rust. So I didn't even see it. I didn't even notice that, right? And that was the issue. That's part of AM section of this radio. And all those tests that you saw last video, I double check, triple check everything. So the parts that I ordered is already here. So this is what I bought from Amazon. This is a 5K trimmer. And I measure that one. It says 5K, when I put my multimeter on it. So I'm going to put the link in the comment section. If you need to buy this, it's where to find it. There's 10 of them comes. Very reasonable price. Believe it or not, it cost me less buy all these 10 than just buy one from other supplier. Because other supplier, they want to charge $7 to $10 shipping for one trimmer. The trimmer was about maybe $1 or so, but here I got 10 of them, I think for about maybe $6 or $7 or something like that. More reasonable. That's why I buy stuff directly from Amazon. And if I'm not happy with it, I can send it back. But if I want to send something back to other suppliers, they're going to charge me shipping again. So anyway, I already turned off the radio. We're going to change that trimmer with one of them that I already pulled out. I'm going to hook it up exactly the way the other one was. So let me take that out and solder that trimmer in. Hopefully this is the issue. Of course the radio is off, as I mentioned earlier. You never want to do this if the radio is on. Okay, this is out. Let's install the other one. You see the middle section, I soldered to this one. Original, these two were soldered together. So this will solder to the ground. Okay? To that bar right here. It's so darn small. So we're going to test the radio now. Alright, AM is working as well. Can you hear it? Let's see, I put this one also on AM 690. See, that's AM 690. If I turn it up, see? I can see in his head. If I just lob it if I turn him, it down, the tight end is right there, and I think we're gonna get a first down and maybe more. See, now you hear it here. So the AM is fixed. I'm just playing a sport, because I don't want YouTube kick me out. AM also is a directional. If you turn it around, it's going to sound different. Since the coil is here, So it's very directional AM, but FM is not. Now let's switch it to FM. I'm gonna turn it down. Since FM is more powerful, I'm gonna put it on FM. See, it's playing. Again, I was speaking, so YouTube doesn't kick me out. You see, FM is very, very powerful. Let me turn this thing down. Of course, FM is working very well. AM, as you saw, is working, but it's not as well as FM. AM still is a little weak. I'm going to add an antenna, outside antenna to this. And definitely, I think, is a transistor inside, and I don't want to take this out. I really don't want to mess around with this anymore. I can hear AM, but it's not as loud as FM. I checked everything for AM. Everything, it seems like is working, but still it doesn't sound that great. I'm glad it's over. This was one of the toughest radio since there was no schematic. If it was just an AM without a schematic, not a big deal. That can be fixed. But FM AM without a schematic is difficult to figure it out. It is a challenge. But I'm glad we're able to fix this. Now everything, as you saw, is performing very well. But I'm glad it's done. Crazy thing just happened. I was trying to clean the bulb here, the lights that it shows what station you are. Use the cotton swab from underneath, and the bulb, it just broke off. One side it broke off. I tried to repair it. There was no way I could repair it. As you see, I tried to solder the other one back, so I had to take it out of here like that. Yeah, I was just using cotton swab right underneath. I guess this radio was somewhere in a high humidity area that was rust out, because as soon as I touched it, broke off. So I took it out of the strain here, because again, I don't have a schematic. I need the schematic to know like this type of information, like what type of the transistors are marked totally different than anything else I have ever seen, and like what type of light bulb I need here. Alright, what I did, I hooked this up to where the bulb was actually, soldered. I'm going to turn on the radio. The reason I'm doing this because I do not know what type of the dial bulb I need to find out. Need to find the voltage that it actually come to the light bulb. So everything is hooked up. Always my radio is hooked up to oscillation transformer as well as variac. So let's turn it on. Alright, as you see, there's 120 volts. It comes to these two wires. So I need to look for the dial bulb that can handle 120 volt or above. Okay, I'm going to get online, try to find something. Hopefully I can find something like that. Since this was built, I believe, in sometime in 1970s, finding this type of thing might be pretty hard. So let me do that. Let me get online, try to find something. Alright, this is a few days later. I went online, believe it or not, I found this in Amazon. It handled up to 125 volts, and it comes in the package. I'm going to put the link in the bottom for you, so if you want to order something like that, very reasonable price too. Yeah, here says there's a 10 light bulb inside this box. This company is around since 1959. See that? Exactly the same size. Man, I was lucky to find something like this. I spent hours and I found it in Amazon, believe it or not. This day Amazon carry everything under the sun. Alright, let's solder it in. Alright, I already put one of them in. And you need this type of tubings to make sure the insulation over this One side is not necessary, the other side definitely you need to add it. If you don't, it's going to touch each other back here. I will show you. Let me first measure and cut it and install it. Alright, let's install this. See, this goes between there. So the bulb goes in first. Then of course you have to fit this to where it was. This is exactly where it was. Of course, if it needs some adjustment, I can adjust it. Making sure that it's not touching anything, especially those two wires that we just soldered. We don't want to head anywhere at all. We also want to make sure we can go all the way this side, right, and go all the way up without this wire heading anything. And here I'm looking to see if it's hitting anything. As you see, that's what I'm looking at. That's good, it's not touching anything. Alright, let's just start it. Let's see what's going to do. So I'm going to use the variac. Gradually I'm going to increase the voltage comes in this radio because I want to make sure everything is working. I don't want to mess anything up. So we're not worried about any of this stuff. I'm just going to operate it in FM. Let me hook this up to the speaker. So now we know the light is coming on, is 120 volt is coming in the radio. Next thing what we want to do, we want to make sure this is showing the right station. As you remember, I had to remove all those to change the bulb. So what I do, I usually get the radio something like this. That is, I set it in FM. See, right here is, right now it shows 99.9. I want to turn this thing down. You see?
Tickets on sale now at AXS.com.
You see that?
The wait is finally over.
I want to turn this thing down. So again, try it in several different stations with this type of radio and set this up and make sure that it's showing correct station. So that's the best way to set this up. Alright, hopefully it makes sense what I did. Originally, before I took this out, they sealed where the dial string is, and this piece that it goes back and forth is a part of dial. They sealed it. So what I'm going to do, I want to also seal it as well. I'm going to use like a nail polish. So I'm going to seal this like the way they did. Just put a little bit. You don't put too much, just a little bit. Like that. Originally, that's the way it was. It's getting harder and harder to find all the style bulbs because I mentioned everything going to LED these days. One step at a time, then pretty soon this will be done, I hope. Alright, I add this lamp post, is about 6 inch long. I run the wires through it. You might say why? Because my understanding is they made two versions of this radio. One of the versions can actually use it as a bedside lamp. And the reason I know that, because I saw a couple of pictures online. There's not that many of them, be honest with you, online, or maybe I couldn't find it online. So here, as you see, they add this 120 volt plug here. And my assumption, the reason they add that, because they were using the same chassis for two different radio. Of course, that makes more sense, right? So that's what they did. So I add this here. I put a couple of washer and also nuts here. I made them make sure it's very tight. It doesn't move anymore. I have this plug was belonged to one of my old radio. Every time I work on the radio, this is the first thing I change. This is a non-polarized, as you see that. So I just cut it, run it through here. Since this is non-polarized, that's why I use non-polarized. Of course, you plug it right here. So this is now is ready to be installed inside the cabinet. Again, the reason I'm doing this because there is not that many of them around anymore, so and I like to one of my radios be like this. As I share with you, my tube radio like this one. Hopefully I'm going to work on that soon as well. Alright, this box where they put the speaker in was pretty bad condition, so I tried to fix it. What I did, I got this type of paper, you know, I believe called construction paper. Find something black like that and cut it in small pieces, of course, and every corner, you know, I add that, as you see, with the glue. And this is the type of glue I use. Again, I use this glue for everything I do. No, at least it's supporting much better because some of them was coming off. It's looking much better. So next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the black, you know, highlighter, and I'm gonna just fix the area that, you know, the cover came off. So that's all I'm gonna do. All right. There's some here that was peeled off, and some other side. So let me do that, then we're going to install the speaker inside. Alright, let's put the speaker in. This goes in the bottom. I'm going to install the washer and nuts now. Alright, the speaker installed. See, even this, all these bolts, they're all brass. They really did a great job, you know, building this. You know, they used a very good material. I'm very impressed, you know, to be honest with you. Usually for novelty radios, they don't use a good quality product, especially if built overseas. You know, I have so many of these radios that build other places and they do not have this type of good quality. They really did this thing great job, you know. So anyway, this is all installed. All right, let's pursue with this project. All right, let's install the chassis into the cabinet. I'm going to install here first as a washer and a screw, of course. Of course, as you know, that's the back of the radio and this is the front of the radio, so the knob should be here in the front, of course. This radio is too tall, you know, it's hard to video everything. I'm going to use a wrench to tighten that knot. Okay. Now we're going to put the speaker here, the back. This is how it is stand like that. Now, of course, this ground wire, we're going to connect it right here. We push it as we did before. We take it apart. Same process. All right, that is hooked up. Now let's install the speaker back here. The speaker is a little tricky. Since this wire goes in, let me show you. See this opening? That's where the cord goes through. There's 2 screws here. We're going to install those 2 screws. Alright, this is the second screws in as well. Now these 2 wires, the speaker wire is going to hook up to the speaker. So let me work on that. Alright, they're both installed. That's what I took this picture to remember how to install them. Alright, next we're going to start installing these pieces. I'm going to start from the back. There is a little, like a lip here. Let me show you. It's like that. See that? And here has an opening, this wood. So this goes right there. So you want to line them up and press it all the way down. You see that? All right. Now let's install this side. When I took this apart, it was 2-piece wood like that, very thin. So this goes right here. Trying to show you and film this thing is a little difficult. This goes right here like that. Okay. You see? Now we get the next one. See, here has also a little cut. See that? So that piece goes right here. That's how it holds together. You do not need to glue this. Okay? You see this? No? Now this is installed. So I'm going to take the same process to install here. So this is the front. See, it came up very nice. The bottom was rust out. You know, I had to clean them pretty well. That's why this color is a little different than here, because all here was rust. So let's install this. You know, as you notice, there's no glass yet. And that's going to be a last. All right, let's install it. Again, it goes to those two openings. All right, you see that? Now all here, the bottom need to fit in the bottom portion. So here you want to be very careful not to damage anything. As you see in here, I put a rubber band here just to pull everything together so I can install the top. All right. All right, this is the end result. As you see, I put it right there in that table. The light is already on. Let's go here and show you how beautiful this radio turned to. So it's a 3 level, of course. Now let's test the radio. That's the on, of course. See, that came on, that light. I'm going to put it in the sports station so YouTube doesn't kick us out.
It got on him pretty quick there. Oh, and we got a little bit of extra going on. Really, this is the sign of the rivalry right here. Now, Quentin Morris, the tight end, is on top of Will Anderson Jr., and he's giving them the belly flop. Boy, they were getting into it. Will Anderson and Quentin Morris, the Jaguar tight end, getting into it. Meanwhile, a very important third down now. The touchdown was called back, so now you've got a 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. You've gotten 2 takeaways here. You have 1 field goal. Can you get it in the end zone here? LeQuint Allen is the running back. Bunch formation to the right and a shotgun for Trevor. Dropping, looking, fires back corner of the end zone. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Parker Washington. He went up and got it. He got both feet down. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Oh, this is close now. I don't know about that second foot, Frank. I'd like to see that again. But Liam Cohen was running down the sideline to try to get a timeout call. And looking at the replay now, 1 foot, second foot. Oh, it's in. What a great job by Parker Washington. What a play by Parker Washington in the back of the end zone. I was sitting there going, is he going to get the timeout in time? And then he didn't get it. I'm like, oh no. And then what a catch by Parker Washington. And it was funny because Liam's trying to get the timeout signal, sees the catch, and then he immediately goes to the celebration mode. They're confirming it. They confirm every score. Alex Moore has not yet said whether or not he's going to have to take a look at this. I mean, I've already confirmed it, Frank. That's a touchdown, and one heck of a throw by Trevor Lawrence, who has been having some slow starts. That throw right there was on the money. And a great catch as well in the back of the end zone. Parker Washington, I couldn't tell at first if he got the second foot down. He did. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Cam Little on now for the extra point. Out of the hold of Logan Cook. Logan gets it down. Cam kicks it up. The extra point is good. And with 8:17 to play in the first, Jacksonville leads the Texans 10-0 at NRG Stadium. This is Jaguars Radio.
PRI Productions is the official game day production partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'll be honest with you, it takes so much time to make these videos, editing, uploading, and make sure there's enough information that it actually makes sense, you know, if you want to follow. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comment. You always encourage me to upload more videos, since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when new video being uploaded. You have a great day.